Greetings, everyone. This is Chris Rael with Cosmic Frequency, and I'm actually going live on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously. So the cameras look super different. It's all good. I'm going to continue with the flow. Anyways, the camera on YouTube looks way darker than the one on um, Instagram, but what's important is the message. I'm actually here in my kids' playroom. Everyone's still sleeping. I know it's super early, but yeah. So I wanted to hop on because I feel like what I'm about to share is very, very important given recent circumstances. All knowledge and wisdom that is shared here is for the highest and purest intentions for everyone involved. Everything I'm offering is just invitation only. Take it or leave it. I don't really care either way. I'm just here to share information and give humanity invitation into different ways of being. So, however you choose to take this information, entertainment, education, truth, fact, it's totally up to you. Um, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Rael, and I'm the founder of Originally Peaceful Human Advancement, um, the Republic of Eternal Nations, minister and trustee, and a father, and a bunch of other things. But most of all, I'm a spiritual specialist or a cosmic guide, and my work is designed to, like I said, offer wisdom and knowledge to humanity so that we can actually take steps forward and potentially become an interstellar species. So I do one-on-ones, I do in-person retreats, talks, and a bunch of different things. So I'm very well versed in ether physics along with cosmology, right? So a lot of the reason I'm not doing lives a lot is because I've been doing talks in person, and this kind of take my energy in a complete different direction. But my specialty is in cosmology and the understanding, the comprehension of the cosmos at large, and that involves our star friends, our interdimensional, interstellar homies, if you will. My antennas are sticking up. um, I've been making star contact since 2000, consciously 2014, but I've been having all kinds of interdimensional experiences ever since I was a kid. So I speak from a place of experience versus a place of, I listened to this person talk, or I read this book, or I looked into this modality. Everything that I share, 90% of everything that I share has come directly from the source, from my own inner wisdom, right? So I think that makes the work I offer unique and different than a lot of people, because I know a lot of people go through the journey based on what it means to go through the journey instead of having direct experience, right? So, um, extraterrestrials have been friends of mine ever since I can remember. So, let's talk about history a little bit and why this topic today is so important. So, those of you who, wow, I don't know how many people actually have gotten to that point because it's not common. But so I'm going to bring up Jesus, and it's all relevant. So back in the day, the Roman Empire created. Uh, they were, ravaging the whole entire continent, the whole entire world. It was their intention and their mission to basically gain control over the world. Now, again, you can take this as fiction if you want. It could be seen as entertainment. I'm only here to offer information. Take it as it is for you. And as they were taking over the world, their own people started to, or the people of Palestine started to revolt and rebel. And there was a lot of people. And so this rebellion got so strong, the people got so strong as the Roman Empire was trying to take them over that they almost defeated the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire couldn't actually keep up with the onslaught of people who were standing up against the tyranny that was Rome at that point in time. So a man named Nero and his, let's just say his business partners, decided to come up with a plan. He hired two people, the Flavians. He hired Titus and guy starts with a V. Can't remember his name, but he hired these people to go through these cultures and take them over and to quell the revolt and revolution. And so he had hired these two generals before, and they did a great job of taking over places like the Irish lands. The Celtics and the Druids were demolished by Rome, right? That's where all the Celtics and the Druids information went. It didn't get burned. They confiscated it and wiped out the people. Now they can't do that consciously because we are the descendants of that timeline. Really, truly, we are. But this is all you got to know this background so that you can comprehend why this topic of today is so important because it's the same thing playing out. So Nero hired Titus and his father, I can't remember his father's name, to go take out the rebellion. They couldn't do it, right? So they had to come up with a new plan. The people were too strong. Okay. So they thought about it and they said, okay, so what is it that the people want? What is it that they're looking to experience, right? And through observation, they could clearly see that the people were looking for freedom. They were looking for peace and love, right? That's what the people wanted. They wanted peace and love. Okay. So what happened was Nero and the Roman Empire created and fabricated a story of a savior that was all about peace and love, right? So they created a symbol. They called this symbol Jesus. Now, Jesus, if you read in the Bible, the story of Jesus is actually parallel to what Titus was doing in his crusades through the world, right? So the Jesus story isn't even it's multi-layered. But the point here is that they took the character that people call Jesus to this day, who they worship him, they pray to him, they think he was real. There's so many different narratives, but they used this energy of the people who wanted peace, they wanted love, they wanted to overthrow Rome. And they said, okay, well, here's this savior that's going to save you and give you these things. So the people of Palestine started to surely but slowly give away their spiritual sovereignty to this character Jesus in favor of the fact that he died for their sins. He was the pure symbol of love. He was the pure symbol of joy. He was the hope that the people were looking for. But it was all a story. It was all created, literally created through these tyrants of Rome. But what happened? The people of that time took the bait and they started to um, they created an egregor. They created a an actual energy around this where they thought that Jesus was real, right? They thought a savior was coming to save them from Rome. And so what the Romans did, which is genius, and kudos to them, because it's at the end of the day, um, a villain and a superhero are just different in their endeavors, right? In their intentions. That's really what it comes down to. So the people had their greatest power used against them. They had their greatest power used against them was the power of love and the power of peace. So as they realize, oh, there's this new savior, oh, his name is Jesus and he died for our sins, and Moses did this, and all these things throughout the Bible were written in a way to control the people by giving the people what they wanted. Now, why would that be important? Because if you give the people what they want, and if you're the creator of what they want, you now control the people. You now control the narrative. You control the story. You control what's true. You control what's false. Right? You hear what I'm saying? So let's fast forward 2023, mass awakening. Everyone's waking up. Humanity's on the rise. All these beautiful things are happening. And it's true to a certain extent, but I see something that I need to point out here, and that's the fact that I really do believe and feel that this whole extraterrestrial thing. To be honest, I had a whole download that I wrote that I was going to put in my next blog post. I don't know where it went. It like vanished somewhere. I have no idea. I'm trying to get this lighting. There we go. um, I have no idea where it went, but it was all about this topic. So this download was describing how all of this stuff, how the media controls the narrative. It's going to give you what you want, because if it gives you what you want, now you're controlled by it. So what's happening now is, and actually, I'm sorry, let me pause. So I wrote that download, and then I just found out recently that there was some huge court case or something here going on about the UFO stuff. I didn't watch it. I have no idea what happened. All I know is that I got this message to share with you all because it felt urgent and it felt important. So what I see happening is that they're looking to control the narrative again, just like they did in Rome. Because the Vatican, Rome never fell. It's just the Vatican. The Pope is Caesar. It's the same people. Okay. So if the United States or the Congress is having some sort of talk and some sort of disclosure about extraterrestrials, you cannot take that serious, because what does that mean? That means, what do the people want? Oh, they're making star contact. Oh, the CE5s, Dr. Greer, which is also part of the CIA, but we'll get in that later. Oh, all these things. Wow, this is beautiful. What do the people want? They want to connect with their interstellar roots. So let us give them that narrative so that they're happy, but at the same time they're under our control. Because now, if there is some sort of contact or some sort of experience, they're the ones saying it's true, saying it's false, saying it's this race of beings, saying what their agenda is. They get to control the narrative. You see what I'm saying? It's the same storyline. So we cannot be fooled and be all, oh my God, this is so great. That's not how this game works. This is a multi-dimensional game. Only until you realize who and what you truly are do you get to leave and play a different game. So I do not feel any authenticity from, I could be wrong. Like I said, I could be wrong. But seeing how I've seen things in the past eons in different timelines, it does not seem like the United States is anywhere near ready to actually wholeheartedly and purely talk about interdimensional, interstellar people unless it benefits them. That's how they operate. That's what they're there for. The government and its minions are there to control the minds of the people. That's what government means, right? So if you are watching this thing, I don't know if it was it on CNN, like was it on a news channel, like what was this huge hearing? I have no idea. But if 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 any major conglomeration oligarchy is giving you a narrative, it's because they have skin in the game. That's how it goes. There's going to be an ulterior motive. Just because they're talking about the things that you like to hear doesn't mean that they are authentic in their motive. It's how it goes. So they're going to give the people what they want. They're going to give us, okay, so we found UFOs and we found non-human beings in this craft. Okay, that sounds great, because here comes the disclosure. I've been having disclosures since I was a kid. Like, disclosure is whenever you want it. It's not based on when some person sitting in a chair says, like, it's disclosure. Disclosure is up to you. You disclose your own interstellar roots, your own communication line. That's not something anyone can give to you, right? I help people open up their minds and their consciousness to receive and to experience things like that. But I can't give you disclosure, no different than the White House can give you disclosure. So if everyone is biting their nails and eating their popcorn, waiting for this huge disclosure event, it's not going to happen, because you have to comprehend this realm is set up the way that it is for souls to learn how to become who and what they truly are. That's how the realm is set up, which means that it is dense, it seems physical, and it's intense. It kicks your butts that you can move into your true frequency. It's a learning ground. It's a school, as Dolores Cannon would say, right? So the system itself is not going to just flop over like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's just give everything up that we've built for the last 2 million years. We're just going to give it up, and you know, No, you graduate out of this realm. But it's deep. There's layers within layers within layers. And I do not feel that just because the news or just because the White House is talking about extraterrestrials, that their motives are the same as mine. I think it's just another way to control the narrative. It's another way to get people hooked in so they're not going out under the stars and making contact from their own consciousness. They're not actually diving into ether physics. People are gonna sit and listen to, okay, um, you know, the government said the ETs are here or there's UFOs. Now what do I do? Oh, okay, they said those are the bad ones, those are good ones. They control your mind. They move your emotions from here. Okay, you guys want to learn about, being vegan? Oh, let's create a big vegan thing. Oh, you want to learn about ETs? Oh, we're control that narrative too. Right? It's how they operate, it's how they play. So you, as a player in the game, you have to learn to see between the lines. You can't just take everything at face value. It's so much deeper. It's so much deeper. Um, 1 second. I don't know if Vanessa Jones is still here. It looked like she was trying to hop in. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about all this? Does this make sense? Oops, I'm just waving to you all. Feel free to ask questions. Um, I'm recording this on YouTube as well, like I said, because I just want to make sure that I had this all down. So I love how in tune you started talking about the Druids. Yeah, I love the Druids. Yeah, the Celtics and the Druids. So the Irish Empire actually helped set up Egypt, which a lot of people don't know. Everyone thinks Egypt was first. It wasn't. They got a lot of their wisdom from the Celtics and the Druids. The Druids were simply people who were in tune with nature, who were in tune with their self and the cosmos at large. And they understood the ether. They understood how to create energy or how to create things out of pure energy or ether force. And you know, you could be seen as a warlock, which is a druid who would have been corrupted, you could say, or there were druids who were very, very pure beings, which is a whole other topic. But yeah, I felt like this was really, really important for you guys to hear today, um, and just wanted to share this wisdom because I think it's important. Why are aliens making contact? Because here's how it goes. It's like this. Um, Everything works together. Everything works. Humanity isn't like an isolated species. It's not just kind of floating in the stars by itself and um, you know, good luck. No, it's not that they're making contact. It's that they have always been here. Extraterrestrials are not extraterrestrials. They're a part. It's like this. I'm trying to think of a good day. It's like let me just use this crystal, right? So let's say humanity is on like this end of the spectrum, and let's say like some of the extraterrestrials are on this end. Well, it's all the same spectrum. It's all the same. The difference is the people here have advanced spiritually enough to now give guidance and advice to the people here. They're all people. They look like us. They talk like us. They know a bunch of different languages. Um, there's their technology is absolutely profound because it's based in the ether, and so they want to assist humanity in up leveling its consciousness, right? So this is not something. That's what I'm saying is there are beings who are here to assist, and they have been assisting in the most amazing ways. And there's so many myths out there about how like aliens like harvest energy from the sun. Like that doesn't the sun is not something that you harvest energy. It's the sun is a portal that is actually an end of a torus, right? And the black hole is the other end. It's one system. So the sun isn't hot. If you stood on this, you can stand on the surface of the sun because it's pure energy. It doesn't emit heat, right? Now, when you start to understand and comprehend this level of knowledge and wisdom, and you start to apply it to your life, you become an interstellar civilization. But 90% of the things that you've been taught about ETs and everything is simply not true. It's all designed to control the narrative, to make people think about them in a certain way so that people aren't really thinking for themselves. That's how it goes, right? So, um, we're here to assist, to offer guidance and support for those who want it. It's really that simple. It's not a complicated system. Everything helps everything. You can think of it like one big organism, and the different parts of that organ, like this, right? I have a body, my brain, and my heart work together, but then I have like a pinky. Like, what is this pinky? Well, this pinky is just as important as anything else, but it gains wisdom and information from the different stimulus going on in my body, so everything can work together, and like, we can do cool things. So, did you download all this from within? Yes, most of it. Yes. Yep. So I'll say I intuited it from within, and then it was affirmed, as it always is, externally, because we create things as we go along. Doctor in the CIA, tell me more. Tell you more. Well, I'll say this. You really, really think that someone is going to rat out the White House in the way that Dr. Greer does, in such a simple way, and talk about free energy and all this stuff, and like, how's that possible, right? How's it possible? Now, there's a thing called controlled opposition. There's a few people here on Instagram who I know have really big accounts who talk about Sumerian tablets and things like this. I don't know how deep I want to go with all this. I should let y'all figure that out for yourself. My point is, this realm does not operate in authenticity for the most part, unless you yourself are authentic. This realm operates in a way so that the soul can advance and evolve through tension and through having to kind of become the lotus rising through the mud. So that means there's a lot of um, tricksters out there, whether they know it or not, who are in high levels of position, who are carrying information, that are regurgitating a story that send out a certain frequency about the Sumerian tablets, about all that stuff that makes people still enslaved to the agenda. It's another version of the Bible, because it has information that is true, but it has information that is also um, not true. So, how does it relate to Dr. Greer? I love him. I actually reached out to work with him a couple of times, like years ago. Me and my partner did, because she does sign language, and we wanted to. She wanted to sign for some of his talks. Now, whether or not he wanted to, she wanted to sign for some of his talks. Now, whether or not he is aware of all of this, I have no idea. I just find it super fishy that he's able to do what he does, and to the degree that he does, and all this stuff, um, unless he's a part of it, and somehow. I don't know if that's true. That's just my interpretation. Another thing is, whenever you really start to connect, and you really start to um, have your own experiences with star beings, it's a completely different energy. It's not like it is on Instagram. It's not like it is you're in meditation and you look up and you see an orb floating 20 feet above your head, and you receive a telepathic insight and download, or I've had tractor beams like actually like shine on me. This is a whole other experience I've yet to share, but that's what I'm talking about. There's a way you can have disclosure for yourself that isn't involving any big name, because the true beings who are here to assist are not looking for people with big names. They're looking for people with pure hearts who can help and assist humanity in moving forward. Everything is about the evolution of consciousness, right? So, all right. Any other questions? We just haven't had the level of consciousness to receive contact. Well, yeah, most people haven't. That's the thing, right? Is because most people are still listening to what someone else It's so ironic, right? Because you're listening to me, and that's where it gets tricky. It's like, how I'm talking to you is, I'm telling you not to listen to me, but to listen to yourself and to go out. And again, I do offer services around like how to clear your mind and how to get into your heart and actually be telepathic, and what to look for in the night sky, and what, all that stuff. This is what I do. This is what I'm here for. But yes, most people, even in the spiritual community, I feel like whenever I talk about interdimensionals and extraterrestrials, it pushes people away. Even some of my closest friends, they get really weird when I start to talk about aliens because it's a different level of consciousness. It really is. It's because they're not alien. It's a different way of being, right? And you have to be able to assimilate that frequency and know that it's okay to transcend the earth realm. The earth realm is beautiful. Yes, it's amazing. Yes, it's magical, but it is not all there is. We are not meant to stay in this density forever. We're not. That's not how it goes. We're meant to advance. Well, you can't use free energy if you're still living in fear. You can't use free energy in ether physics if you don't know how to work with the ether itself. That's not how it goes. So just like if I were to go to Japan and want to learn the Japanese language, I couldn't just go in and as an American and be like, yeah, no, I'm comfortable. I'm an American. Like it's good. Like I don't need to change or do anything different to learn your language. Like no, I'm just gonna chill in your culture. No, you have to up level. You have to change. You have to become what you truly are. Interstellar beings are not alien. They are just a more advanced in their spiritual nature, which means they comprehend how reality actually works. So I want to separate this idea of aliens out there and humans here. It's one spectrum of consciousness. It's all God, it's all source, it's all spirit. The difference is in the higher realms, you don't see yourself as an individualized body, which means you have access to different levels of consciousness, which means you have different access to different types of technology, right? So humans have to learn how to get out of their own way. A lot of people still think very primitively, even in the spiritual, even on Instagram, in the UFO community, there's, I'm going to go chase a UFO. You don't chase UFOs. UFO hunters, you don't hunt UFOs, right? Um, they're more family than most people on Earth. They are more akin to what it is you all say you're looking for as far as peace and zen and being advanced and tranquil and in tune and magic, right? Because it's a progression. It's a progression, right? We in our human bodies, we don't stay the size of 2 year old forever. Our bodies grow up, and when our bodies are this size, we have access to more knowledge and information than we did when we were two. So spiritually speaking, humanity has got to get out of the toddler phase. Well, how does a toddler get out of the toddler phase? By guidance from its parents. Now, don't take that word too far and think that I'm saying, oh, there are parents. There are family, yes, because there's many more humans out there than just the ones on Earth. all the Lyran, all the humanoid species in this quadrant in the cosmos are Lyran by origin, because the Lyrans are just the way that the ether put together a certain part of itself to give itself this form. This is a Lyran form. So all of you are Lyrans, right? This stuff gets so deep, but it's so simple. And so being able to reach the level of consciousness to be able to communicate is really being able to comprehend who and what you truly are. That's where it starts. And that's how simple it is. And that's why I do what I do. All right, just trying to see if there's any other comments. Perceptual reality could be a huge issue in contact with other entities, in my opinion. What do you mean by that? Because perception certainly does play a part, but you're only going to perceive what your level of consciousness is. So if your level of consciousness is still rooted in fear and separation and individuality and the lower nature, you're going to draw to you, whether it's from a different planet or from this realm, whatever that experience entails. But whenever you're in alignment, because the true protection is really your own frequency. That's really what it comes down to. So you don't really need to be afraid of anything if you know who you are. You know how to handle your energy. It's only people who don't know who they are and people who are still outsourcing their spiritual energy through a Jesus, through a whatever it is that are susceptible to that same frequency, because we live in a realm of mirrors. Everything is a holographic reflection moving back to us. So my perception does control my reality. If I perceive myself as a densified human being, I'll have that experience. If I know that I'm the ether, that I am, as some would say, um, a son of the ether, then I have access to everything, because I'm not localized to this form, right? So this stuff becomes really deep when you really get into it. But like I said, this is why I teach what I do, why I'm teaching in person now, doing events, because I can't just shove everything into an Instagram live or YouTube live and expect you all to um, get it. There's a progression of consciousness. There's deprogramming that must be undone before we become interstellar. That's the whole point. I live in West Virginia, and all I have to do is go out and look up, and there are orbs everywhere all the time. Yes, yep, exactly. There's so much traffic up there. A lot of the things you see in the sky, they'll tell you are satellites and stuff, but most of it isn't. Most of it is just interstellar people going about their life, traveling from point A to point B, interdimensionally through portals. I've seen starships like blink in, blink out, boom, boom. Like it's so magical. They truly understand the mechanics of nature and creation. Yes, they do. And they, as in us, as in we, right? So I I invite humanity and people who are here to not see it as something separate. You're not separated from the higher realm. Dimensions don't exist. I wrote about this. They don't exist. The 5D does not exist. 3D doesn't exist. Those are concepts. Someone point to 3D for me. Wait, I'll pay you $1 million if you can tell me and pinpoint 3D. I'll pay you $12 million if you can pinpoint 5D, 60, 70, 12D, 15D, right? You can't, because it doesn't exist. Just like the boundary between um, Canada and the United States isn't really there. It's all one landmass. Like, where's the line drawn in the sand that says, here's Canada, here's you? No, it's all one. So what must change to be able to comprehend the higher realms is you. You need to get into the frequency, the resonance fields of the higher ethers. Higher as in more refined, different, not higher as in up there. There's nothing up there. It's all in here. It's all in here. You see? It's all frequency management, and it comes from within you. So this is the thing, right? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, they're light beings." No, they're physical beings, just like you. They're interdimensional extraterrestrials are physical people. They're people. They have two eyes. They have a head. They have two arms. The organs might look a little different because the planet they live on and stuff, but they're not. Things are not as like, whoa, oh my god. There's so much more advanced and involved. Like, they had to go through what we had to go through to get to where we are. This is why they're guides. That's why I'm here as a cosmic guide, spiritual specialist, because through the journey I've taken my consciousness and myself, I can offer from a place of comprehension and personal experience so that others can have a little bit easier of a time than I may have, right? That's how the cosmos works. It's guidance. Everyone is guiding everyone to a better, more potent expression of the ether, of source, of God. God is the ether. Ether is God. Ether is source. Where's the source? Close your eyes. I say word. Tree. What do you see? A tree. You created that. You are God. You are the ether. It's all there. All of it. Okay. Is it a consciousness? Is what a consciousness? When we return to the eternal source, yes, and that return can happen anytime you want. That return and ascend. But it's really about realizing deeper layers and deeper truths of yourself. It's not about getting anywhere. It's more about realizing what is here now and what you are, right? Do you have online workshops with practices or memberships? I do. I do have online workshops. I have in-person workshops. I have one-on-one. Um, if you guys wanted to, do that, we could definitely do it. Byron, what's up, brother? So, oh, I was talking about how they're not all light beings. Well, from the perception of you of a consciousness that thinks it's physical, when you see something that knows it's not physical, you're going to perceive it as a light being. But from the aspect of that quote light being, it's as physical as you are. Now, that's no different than walking through a wall. The wall, the stone, this crystal, this chair, this is not solid. This is all perception. And since we're all agreeing that this is perception, where it's all, solid matter, then it is solid matter. But the second that we agree that it's not, then it ceases to be solid matter. um, okay. So with that said, my friends, fragments of the universe, yeah. I hope that this makes sense. So remember that whenever you see things on the news, when you see them talking about extraterrestrials, that they're just trying to control the narrative. But I highly suggest that you control your own narrative and that you listen to yourself. Um, Now, it doesn't mean that every single being in the cosmos is good or bad. It just means that they are what they are. Everyone has different agendas. That's why it's more important for you to listen to your own inner guidance, your own inner compass. 90% of the time, if you see a big corporation like whatever CNN or whatever um, talking about a highly charged topic like extraterrestrials, it's because they're trying to control the narrative. So don't fall into that. I mean, or you could fall into it. I do care, but at the same time, like everyone's gonna be okay. It's all good. But if you're looking for a more genuine experience without the remarks or um, input of a third party, I suggest that you start to experience things for yourself. Start to ask your own questions. And as you ask your own questions, things are naturally revealed to you over time as you go along. That's how it goes, right? A lot of the stuff I shared today, I had already downloaded or inner sourced, then it was reflected externally. I was like, okay, boom, I got to go talk about this now. So, any last thoughts before I hop off? I got about 2 minutes left. Yes, no, maybe so. All right. All right, everyone. So, trusting that this got the message across, listen to yourself. They cannot hurt you, they cannot control you. You are the eternal source, here now, always and always. Um, yeah, just check my website, republicofeternalnations.org, if you guys want to do some one on one work um, or group work. Who do you communicate with? So many different beings. At this point, it's all spirit because an Arcturian to a Pleiadian to a Draconian, it's all the same. It's just consciousness expressing itself uniquely and differently. I've had experiences with Alpha Draconians, which are the real dragons. So dragons are real, but they're interstellar. They do look like what we see in the movies and stuff for the most part. But another cool thing about those beings is that they don't breathe fire. They actually, so whenever they spit, their spit, how it reacts with the air creates fire. But they're intelligent. They talk. They are the keepers. They're actually a protective race. They're not the reptilians that everyone talks about. There's so many misconceptions. Like, oh, all reptilians are bad. Watch out for the reptilians, but only the Pleiadians are good. Like, that's not how it goes at all. Um, I've communicated with the Pleiadians. I've communicated with the Arcturians, the Jupiterians, or the Christos beings that live on Jupiter. Um, I've communicated with the Andromedans. Communicated with beings that don't even have a name. I call them the Etherians. They would be considered more of the angelic races of consciousness that people associate with the angels, but they're not really angelic. They're just not as physical because they are resonating in a higher frequency, which is really just a perception. like we talked about. Blue avians, I personally haven't had any direct that I know of contact with blue avians, reptilians, um, draconians, like I said, Arcturians, all the ones I just named. But again, those are just names and just titles. But what we do is we title and we name and we have different associations. So if we hear the word reptilian, everyone's like, "Oh no!" But if you hear like Arcturian, everyone's like, "Oh yay!" But it doesn't, you know, do that. Yes, mantis beings for sure. Um, I had a mantis guide who was teaching me how to heal. Um, who else? Yeah, inner earth beings, the Agarthians. I communicated with them. Um, Different aspects of myself in the higher realms in different forms. So much. It's all spirit. It's all consciousness. So, whew, yeah, we should do this again. You guys are awesome. If you want to work, I have a blue avian aspect. That's awesome. I love that. And again, these are just like the 5 or 6 or however 7 races that people know about. You know how many beings are out there? Beings that we don't even. It's endless. It's countless beings. So there's some that don't even have names. Some that don't even have awareness in our perceptual human experience. So keep your consciousness expanded. Don't settle for even what I say. Definitely don't settle for what the government is saying, because they're going to use the truth to fit their agenda, which is to sustain the matrix, and they're doing a great job. And that good job. Thank you. I see you guys. Thank you for playing your role. Right. We give gratitude and honor for all parts of the experience. We don't demonize any part of it. We don't hate any part of it. We see each part for what it is doing. And then you just choose to experience the part that you want to experience. Because what you fight fights you. What you struggle and push against is struggling and pushing against you. That's why it's so important to understand, to comprehend, to see things with a clear eye, right? And a pure heart. Because if you're sitting over here and if you're afraid of the cabal and if you're afraid of the reptilians and you're afraid of, well, then you're creating that fear that then it's going to be projected into your holographic field, that then it's going to give you the experience of that. If you know your source, if you know their source, if you know that it's all a unified consciousness expressing in different ways, it's like once they know that they don't bother you. They only bother you when you're matching the frequency of what they're emitting, right? So if they're this, weird, creepy being, um, but what's up? Let me mess with you, right? So it's like you got to see things as a whole for what it is. Okay, so this thumb does this pinky does that, this middle finger does this, okay, this one does that, this head does this. It's all one thing moving together, different parts moving together, different parts of the whole. So don't fear anything. You cannot live in fear. Fear is just forced attention, right? That's all it is. You're forcing your attention, you're forcing things regularly, forced energy applied regularly. So apply your energy in ways that bring about greater experiences for yourself and for others. Most of what we see here are different dimensions and aspects. Truth. All right, star friends. I'll talk to you soon. Trusting this was helpful. I'm gonna go watch what they're saying on the news now about ETs and laugh a little bit. All right, peace.